To KickStartTV. As unbelievable as it may seem, we actually have made it on the air tonight. I got to tell you, of all the nights we have tried to get things up and running, this was like we cut it down to the wire and then started cutting the wire some more.
I'm telling you,
it was right down to it. See what happened was.
Do we need to get into this?
Yeah, we need to get into it. We got to tell them why we were late because they're going to want to know. It's an important thing. They're like, "Where's my show, man?" Because I know lots of folks are out there watching it now. KickStartTV, believe it or not, is starting to become popular in certain medical institutions and those.
I was contacted this week.
You were contacted.
Oh yes.
I like the note I got from one place that said, "Please excuse the crayon, but they won't let us use anything sharp here."
That's right.
I thought that was
that's
really,
exactly the case.
That was the deal. But anyway, what's going on with KickStartTV and why are we late? Well, this weekend I got to tell you, this was like the weekend from heaven and hell all rolled into one, man. Yep. I mean, we had a great time down at the show. I got to go riding because it was so warm in Colorado. It was unbelievable. It was like 50 degrees, in February. So we got to go out riding, which was great. We had all kinds of fun, and then I had the bike breakdown. The Road King actually took a dump as I was leaving the show.
I think I know something about that.
That's it. Yeah, we do know something about that. Anyway, I got to thank Trash, who once again came to my inimitable rescue. And saved me once again. Can I tell the story about getting home from Broadway?
You like that word, inimitable.
Yeah.
Are we going to do the hat thing?
Oh, we're going to do the hat thing. I was going to do this hat trick thing, but yeah, it was kind of alien looking. It was like this. Whoop, there, here. But it doesn't work over the headphones. See? It was kind of like this.
Warren, it doesn't work at all.
It kind of is like...
It doesn't work.
Aliens are approaching.
Bag the hat.
Alrighty.
Bag the hat.
God, it's bright in here. God.
Shades work, hat...
It was like when I was living in Boulder, the first thing you reached for when you got out of bed at night was your sunglasses, because it was so bright in that world.
Right.
Anyway, what happened this
weekend?
Was
living in Boulder.
I was living in Boulder. It's true. It was after my first marriage went like that.
How'd it go?
All right. Like that. I was living in Boulder because I decided it was time to be a Boulder cool dude, So I'm living in Boulder with this buddy of mine.
Playing music.
You gotta love the air. We're playing rock bands and we're having a good time.
Smoking dope.
No, we would never do that. You gotta dig this. This buddy of mine that I was living with, he and I were practicing alcoholics. I mean, we were like drunk 24 hours a day. We're Boulder. We're 22, 23-year-old guys. We're drinking all. He chose his house by how close it was to a liquor store.
I'm not surprised.
That's what he was like, I got to have a nice house, but it's got to be within 2 or 3 blocks of a liquor store so I don't have to drive. And the funny thing is this guy is now, he got a medical degree, and now he's an anesthesiologist. I watch this guy, I'm serious, I watch this guy yak into a cup and drink it back down.
That's enough.
I'm walking
That's
out.
enough.
Okay, anyway, so here's what happens.
Enough. Did you ever go to Two Loggies?
Yes, the Tool.
Did you play the Tool?
I never played the Tool, but I've been to Two Loggies. Right. I've been there.
When I was a young man, we used to park our choppers. Remember they had that wide sidewalk out.
Yeah, it's like a movie pull-in right there.
That's right.
Yeah, it was a movie
That's right.
pull-in.
And next door to the joint, there was like a pizza place or something.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of joints up there.
Well, we used to park our choppers up there on that sidewalk.
Yeah, it was kind of.
And all the little college girls would come around. They go, look.
Oh, that's
take me for a ride. And they learned the price of a ride on a righteous chopper.
Price of a ride. Was it like $1.95?
I don't think it wasn't charged in question.
Wait a minute. This is like that thing that you have on your bike that says it's complimentary to pay for a motorcycle ride. That one. Yeah.
It works.
It does?
It works. Yeah.
Well, there's a funny thing, and even a lot of women will admit this, and they will admit that, really that when a guy comes up to them and says, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" I mean, that's like a big ping.
I don't solicit rides.
That's it? You don't?
No.
What do you do?
They come to me.
They come to you and ask for a ride?
Absolutely.
They say, "Can I have a ride on that?" And then you go, "I don't
Why
have
not?
a bike with me. What are you
Why
talking
not?
about?" Yeah, what the hell?
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised.
All right, what was your story?
Anyway, so we're at the bike show this weekend. You're going to see the video of the bike show that we got. And so I get this call that it's emergency loaf of bread time. I have to get home and bring this loaf of bread. It's a big emergency. So I say, "Okay, honey, I'm going to drop everything." I'm hanging out with some righteous brothers who just happen to be in a
Good guys
club. And so we were hanging out with these guys because they were in a club. And then I decided it was time to go home because I had enough hanging around the club. And so I left, and I went out to the parking lot, and
I think the wonderful Wendy knew you were hanging around with
I think she knew who I was hanging
around with
that club, and decided that it was time to get me home, and the best way to do that was to say, honey, you got to bring me some bread. So anyway, I head out to the parking lot, and I just put these new spotlights on my Road King, because with the Road King, I've decided that the more lights you can stick on it, the better off you are. It's kind of like an old caddy or something with lights hanging all over it. So I put these little spots,
curb feelers.
Yeah, curb feelers, like the light up ones with a skull at the end. That kind of stuff. The kind of stuff you get from like J.C. Whitney a long time ago. Really wacky junk. Like the steering wheel turners with like the tarantula in plastic.
It's known as a necker knob.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So you can neck at the same time. Anyway, so I head out of the thing to the parking lot. And I get on the parking lot, and I get on my bike. It's really cold. I put on all my clothes, because it's getting dark. I'm going, man, am I glad I put this extra spotlights on there? It's dark. It's cold. I'm going to be all dressed up and warm. It's going to be really nice ride home. I'm really actually kind of looking forward to this. Even though it's cold, I got all my shit together, and it's going to be all right. So anyway, I get on the bike, and I fire it up. It starts real good for the cold. That's great, and I start out of the parking lot. I said, hey, I'm going to put on all my lights. I'm going to put on the big blazers and all this stuff because, I don't want these guys backing up and hitting me. So I'll just put on the big lights. So I put on all the big lights. I put on the big lights. I make this corner. I get down to where I'm getting out of the parking lot, and bam, I'm in total blackness. Now the bike is still running. Now this is the reason for carburetors. Okay, you want to hear my carburetor reasoning? Mm-hmm. Because if I had a fuel injection system, I would have been dead, man. Mm-hmm. But I had a carburetor, which operates via air and suction instead of electricity. It doesn't need electricity; it's just suction, sucks the gas in. So I'm running and I'm good, but I have no light. So I pull up on the curb, and who do I call? I call my good buddy, the Trash Man, who's still in the show, and I say, Trash, do you have any tools?
I was amazed.
And we didn't have any tools.
I didn't have 201.
You didn't have 201, and I didn't have any tools.
I had 11 on my belt and a buck knife.
Here's these two biker guys like Ride to Live, Live to Rife, and all that other stuff, and we don't have any tools. I mean, we're pretty lame, man. So he says, well, see what you can do, and, I'll be around. And I'm thinking like, well, maybe it's a short stop, and if it gets cool, it'll snap back, and it'll run again and all that stuff. So anyway, I'm like I started again, the bike starts, but still no lights and all this stuff. So finally I get back on the phone to Trash and say, Trash Man, I got to ride home, and why don't you drive behind me so that you have the lights on, people won't cream me, and you can act as my headlights. And he goes, okay. And I said, and I start to tell him where I am. I'm over by, and he goes, I'm right here. And I said, what? And I turn around, he's already there. Now that's a true friend, man. He's already got his van packed right up against the back of my bike, and we're ready to make the drive down Broadway. Mm-hmm. So we start to make this drive down Broadway. Now, it's cold and it's dark, ladies and gentlemen, but thanks to the warmth of our friendship and the light of his two giant headlights and the lights on the van, we were just cruising down Broadway as happy as we could be. 35 miles an hour, I figure I'll hang in the right lane, and I will be safe as I can be. I just, and you're going to stay back to me, and when I'm braking. You see me, you've ridden with me enough. You know my rhythms and when I'm going to downshift and all that. So I figure he's not going to cream into me from the back. If I can just keep the jerks from hitting me in the front, I'm all set. So 35 miles an hour down Broadway, la, 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 two cop cars right alongside us. And zoom, gone. They're gone. They go right on by us. I go like, well, damn, man. I thought that for sure they were going to pull us over, and they were Denver cops. They were going to do that whole thing with the, they're going to do that whole deal with the, your insufficient tailpipe, and your apes are too apey, and your mustache is too hairy, and write me 100 tickets. Boom, right on by. They didn't even bother me. And I thought, that's great. Okay, so these guys aren't going to bother me. That's pretty good. So then we're going